The tires of my old Chevy pickup crunched over the gravel driveway, each stone laid by my father and me in the summer of '94. The familiar hum of home was supposed to greet me crickets, the creak of the porch swing, maybe the distant low of my cattle. Instead, I saw cars lined up along the fence, polished sedans and SUVs parked like they belonged at a county fair. Strangers wandered my front yard, some clutching clipboards, others sipping coffee from paper cups. Then I saw the sign, estate auction, property and contents included. My chest tightened, like someone had sucked the air right out of me. My name, Jack Harper, was still on the mailbox. My dog's water bowl sat under the swing. Yet here they were, these strangers, walking my land like it was already theirs. I'd only been gone 6 days. I parked hard, engine still running, and jumped out. A man in a polo shirt, clipboard in hand, eyed me like I was the intruder. "Can I help you, sir?" he asked, all polite but cold. "Yeah," I snapped. "You can tell me why you're on my ranch." He blinked, confused. "This parcel's listed for immediate sale. You must be mistaken." Before I could answer, I heard her voice sharp, syrupy, dripping with fake charm. Oh, he's not mistaken. There she was, Margaret Voss, the queen of the Willow Creek HOA, striding across my driveway like she owned it. Her pearls gleamed in the sun, her blonde hair frozen in a perfect bob. "You're early, Mr. Harper." I hadn't seen Margaret since the last HOA meeting, months ago, before my trip to Montana for a family emergency. She'd muttered something then about fixing property lines and ensuring community standards. I thought it was just her usual meddling. I never imagined she'd pull this while I was gone. "What is this?" I demanded. She waved a manicured hand at the crowd. "This is a sanctioned foreclosure auction. Everything's in order. You've been in breach for over 90 days. I laughed, short and bitter. "Margaret, I've owned this land since I was 20. My dad signed it over when he got sick. I've paid every tax, every bill." She smirked, her voice like a soap opera villain. "But not the HOA liens. Unkept fencing, unapproved barns, livestock violations. The list is long." My fists clenched. "My property isn't under HOA jurisdiction." Her smile widened, slow and venomous. "That's what you thought." While I was away, Margaret and her HOA cronies had held a secret vote, claiming a decades-old clerical error placed my ranch within their borders. They'd filed an amendment, approved it themselves, and slapped liens on my property for noncompliance. With me gone, no one contested it. By the time I stepped onto my own porch, my home was set for auction. Sirens wailed in the distance. Margaret didn't flinch. "Stay calm, Jack," she purred. "They don't take kindly to aggression at auctions." 2 deputies pulled up, already briefed. I tried to explain this was my land. My deed was in the safe, but Margaret cut in, her voice quivering with fake tears. "He's threatening people. He's dangerous." One deputy rested a hand on his holster. "Step aside, sir," he said. My pulse roared. "This is my house," I insisted, but they made me wait by my truck, humiliated, while they radioed the county. Margaret strutted around, pointing out my barn to bidders, acting like she'd already won. After 40 agonizing minutes, the deputy's radio crackled. The county confirmed my deed was valid, the title clean. Margaret's face froze. "Must be a clerical delay," she stammered. "The HOA's amendment overrides that." The deputy shot her a look that said she'd crossed a line. She tried to backpedal, claiming squatters' rights and HOA authority, but the auction was halted. A bidder's kid had filmed her calling the cops on me, and by nightfall, the video was viral. HOA lady tries to steal ranch, calls 911 on owner. 5 million views in hours. But I wasn't done. Margaret had underestimated me. I'd kept every document, deeds, township maps, easement agreements from the 1950s when my grandfather homesteaded this land. None of it mentioned an HOA. Margaret's scheme hinged on a zoning tweak from 5 years ago that blurred my property line with a new subdivision. It was flimsy, and she knew it. I called my lawyer, Tom Reed, a no-nonsense guy who lived for property disputes. Within an hour, he was laughing. "She filed this herself? It's a house of cards. The amendment wasn't properly registered, and HOAs can't claim land without owner consent." Margaret had overplayed her hand. Tom dug deeper and found she'd done this before, bullied 3 other owners into selling cheap with fake fines and threats. Elderly folks, young families too broke to fight. My 160-acre ranch, with its springs and Blue Ridge views, was her big score. She thought I'd fold. Instead, I filed an emergency injunction. Margaret skipped the first hearing, sending a shaky lawyer who couldn't keep up. The judge shut down the auction, suspended the HOA's amendment, and granted me a protective order. But Margaret fought dirty spreading lies on the neighborhood Facebook group, calling me a squatter, a fraud. Some neighbors bought it. One even cussed me out at the feed store. It stung, but I stayed focused. Then a game changer. A former HOA secretary, Ellen, showed up at my door with a folder of damning evidence texts, emails, notes proving Margaret's schemes, including plans to seize my ranch. The lawsuit grew teeth. We subpoenaed HOA records, uncovering forged signatures, backdated votes, and unapproved fees funneled to Margaret's cousin's company. Her allies on the board started flipping, one admitting the vote to claim my land was faked. Margaret doubled down, going on a local podcast to call me a conspiracy theorist. The comments tore her apart. People remembered the viral video, her smug grin. The county charged her with fraud, document falsification, and attempted property theft. She was arrested mid-HOA meeting, her mugshot splashed across the local paper. Her accounts were frozen, her house searched. Neighbors started apologizing, bringing casseroles, shaking my hand. The ranch was mine again, but the fight wasn't over. The HOA was still trying to slap me with fines for community green space. That was my hayfield. Tom had one last play. He'd found the HOA's clubhouse sat on a strip of land once part of my family's ranch, sold off decades ago, but never rezoned. I bought the mortgage note cheap, meaning I now own the ground under their feet. I walked into their emergency meeting, boots muddy, and dropped the deed on their table. "You're trespassing," I said. The room froze. I laid out their crimes: fraud, theft, lies, and gave them a choice. Dissolve the HOA, refund stolen dues, or face years of lawsuits. They voted to dissolve right there. I turned their clubhouse into a community shelter, a place for vet checkups, potlucks, and seed swaps. The old HOA sign came down, replaced with one that read Willow Creek Community Hub. The ranch is quiet now. Frost coats the fences each morning, and the cattle's breath clouds the air. Margaret's gone. Rumor says she changed her name and left town. The community's healing, and folks who once stayed silent now speak up. A kid stopped by, said his grandpa worked this land years ago, asked to learn fencing. I told him to come back at sunrise. That's legacy, not just land, but passing it on. This fight wasn't just about me. It was about standing up when someone tries to take what's yours. If you faced your own bullies or injustice, share your story below. What would you do if someone tried to steal your home, your peace? Let's hear your take. Stand up, speak out, and let's keep this conversation going.